to me, the reason for the documentary and the reason that I would, in my mind, think it better than 2 hours is because Manti Te'o is not the interesting part of the story. It's the intersection of who gets crushed when we all learn about the same thing. And there are days where we're allowed to talk about the mystery and say, is Notre Dame a sham fraud? Is their linebacker? We're allowed to arrive at the sinister places. Are they selling a mythology love story because they're trying to win the Heisman? He got a couple of days of that because we were all confused. Well, what do you mean? What's catfishing? What is this report? What's Deadspin doing? Blogs don't undo Heisman campaigns. Is Notre Dame in fraud and crisis? And now you go to a bunch of old people, I'm assuming, in leadership, and are like, what do you do with this? And you've got some old athletic director looking around and being like, what's catfishing? What do you mean my linebacker doesn't have a girlfriend? Is he gay? Is he gay? Like, you don't know what's going to... If Katie Couric is comfortable doing that on television, what do you imagine these guys were dealing with on what the lie was?
I imagine that no one had any idea what to do. And so that's why I think it's difficult to put myself in the position of Manti or any of his teammates or his parents or whoever at the university who's just like, all right, this is going to be a PR disaster. What do we do? Because this was absolutely an unprecedented situation and an unprecedented scenario. And the timing of the story breaking was the absolute worst timing for Manti, for the team, and for the university. Like, they're on this Heisman campaign and on this national championship run. And the last thing they want is for it all to blow up in their faces. And they also, I genuinely believe that they did not want Manti to feel humiliated and embarrassed because he was a superstar on that campus, an absolute superstar. He was
a nice guy, right? Like he's a really,
by
really
all
nice
accounts,
guy.
super nice, very like head down, determined football player. And people really liked him. He was everyone's favorite player. Like, Everett Golson was the quarterback of that football team. No one talks about Everett Golson. Everyone talks about Manti.
I don't know what it must be like to be in your formative years as nice guy caveman trying to get ahead in sports. And now what plays out for you publicly is, oh, what a fool. What a fool you are.
And all of a sudden this becomes word association on Manti Te'o. In some respects, I mean, I don't know if maybe athletically he was just never going to be a great NFL player, but didn't really have much of an NFL career, and I think you could argue because of this. I actually worked with Don Van Natta on a project for ESPN about this. No, because like he was trying to
prize winner Don Van Natta.
Yeah, the backstory episode that ESPN did.
I played dominoes with him, so
wow, fair play. But I worked with him on this, and he was trying to get Manti to sit down, and he wasn't far away from getting to an interview with Manti Te'o. But then towards the end, that's when Netflix came along, and that, by the way, is why this exists. This is in some ways Manti Te'o's retelling.
He hasn't
paid by Netflix in order to go and do this.
I heard the executive producers say that they think he finally wanted to talk about it now that his career is over, because he played in the league for 7 or 8 years. And he talked in the documentary about how he had like severe anxiety his first 3 seasons with the Chargers. Every time he played football, he was a different person. He completely lost his confidence in his ability to just play linebacker, which is a position where you have to be fearless to be in the open field and make a tackle. And he second guessed everything.
Amin's not buying some of this stuff. I do believe, Amin, that you might be underestimating what it's like to go into the cutthroat environment of the NFL as what do people know about me? I'm an idiot. Everyone in my locker room knows I'm a fool. I'm a source of national scorn. I fell for something on the internet.
I'm trying to be empathetic here, so
I think my takeaway though, because I do think the main takeaway will be like, oh, we owe Manti Te'o an apology, and sure, but I think my main takeaway is like the sports media industrial complex all around, like, we need to do better. Like, there needs to be some skepticism when you hear an incredible story like, oh my God, this athlete's grandma and his girlfriend died on the same night in the middle of this like historic football season. Like, that, what are the odds of that? Well, let me tell you, probably pretty slim. Maybe we should look into it. And second of all, when the story then comes out and there's a 21-year-old who, by all accounts, has had his entire life shattered by it, like, we need to not treat him like he's the subject of the tabloids. And even like paparazzi are going to Naya Tuiasosopo's house and like stalking them while they're just trying to like go home, and they have their hood pulled over their head. And then they go on Dr. Phil, and Dr. Phil's doing this voice analysis. This was the other funny part, by the way.
This was amazing.
Spoiler.
Where's Chris?
This the doctor.
Frickin' Dr. Phil. He says he has these CIA and FBI experts who say that there's a 1 in 10 million chance that this is their voice, and they play the voicemail of them that they left for Manti, and then sure enough, it was their voice. It's like, okay, Dr. Phil, so who are these FBI and CIA experts that were
good.
so...
The Dr. Phil stuff
like,
was so good.
Just blatantly, flagrantly wrong about this. Like, it was such a hack interview. Oh my God, he's interviewed in the documentary. Like, it was just... We need to do better.